Well, welcome back to the Pitlane Punters podcast, our second feature episode of 2025, and it is a very special one after the Rally of Canberra, successful running of the Toyota Gazoo Racing Rally of Canberra, which I was very fortunate to be a big part of, as you were, as yourself as well, Josh, who is back after his endeavours to Fiji. But we've got a very special guest with us today in 2025 Toyota Gazoo Racing Rally of Canberra winner, Neal Bates. Lewis, congratulations on your victory a fortnight ago. Has it sunk in yet that you've won your home event?
Yeah, it has for sure. After a few weeks to have a think about it, it's definitely sunk in now, and still a very cool feeling. It was an amazing weekend, and it's been something that I've been trying to win with Anthony and the team for a good 7 years now. So to finally win it in very tough competition is a very nice feeling.
It's a bit of a special episode for us because we've got our studio out on the road. We're in person. Normally we do these conversations via Teams, but it is worth mentioning as well. Not only are you the winner of the Rally Canberra recently, 2022 champion. I noticed as we walked into your dad's office, you've got a dream thing on the board too about becoming the 2022 champion. And obviously winning the Rally Canberra is part of that too, winning your home rally. But look, it must have been a rally of attrition. We had some big names here, Hayden Paddon, even your brother, Harry, ran into trouble on day one too. It was really a war of attrition out there. Is this kind of going to be a new norm for the ARC?
Yeah, it really was a tough event, and Rally Canberra always is high attrition. It's always a really tough event, but this year was probably the toughest since I've started doing the Rally Canberras. I haven't had much luck in Rally Canberra, especially the first few years when I started competing. So, yeah, I know how tough it is. Anthony and I are both quite experienced here now. And to me, 2025 Toyota Gazoo Racing Rally Canberra was probably the toughest one we've had to compete in. And you can see that in the results. So many people had their issues, whether it was, off-road or flat tyres and even a bit of wildlife. So it wasn't an easy event, which makes it that little bit sweeter to get the win.
100%. And we were walking around Parc Ferme afterwards, and I think what was there, like maybe 34, 35 cars that sort of started the whole event, if you include the state guys. But I can only count in the teens, like the mid-teens that had finished the event. What made this year's Rally of Canberra so much, I guess, harder on the cars and the crew than previous editions?
Yeah, you're right. Not many people finished. Really, it was even tough to get to the finish line, let alone trying to get a good result. So, when you've got such tough competition, you got Hayden, Scott, Harry, Alex lining up. Everyone wants to obviously get out of the box and win the first round of the season and get a good kickstart to the 2025 ARC campaign. It's tough going into a rally like Canberra where you really got to weigh up the risk versus reward and try and drive as smart as you can, because this year especially, I think dry conditions, we haven't had much rain over the summer, so the roads were quite rough. There are a lot of ruts, like water drainage ruts, big rocks pulled out. So this year in particular, it was really hard on the cars, and you could see that every service, our team at Neal Bates Motorsport had to fully rebuild my car. I was not hitting anything off the road. It was just all things on the road, and every service they had their work cut out, and obviously they did an amazing job because after every service, we got back out there and it felt like a new car again. But it just goes to show, these are WRC2 cars, so they compete on, all different surfaces. Like they go to Kenya, everything, and they compete on some of the toughest rally roads in the world. And even in our local rally in Canberra, it's quite a tough event, and the cars and the crews have their work cut out.
Lewis, how important was it to get such a big start to your 2025 campaign? Obviously, Hayden Paddon coming into the series is a really big boost to the category and a really big competitor to you, and I'm sure he will be throughout the remainder of the season. Scott Petter's got his brand new Skoda as well. How important is it for you to maximise the points early on in the season and get that little head start over your competition heading into the remaining 5 rounds of the championship?
Yeah, super important. It's definitely what we wanted to do round one, especially against such tough competition. And it's super important and gives you a lot of motivation. Obviously, Anthony and I are now leading the championship going into round 2. It's not a huge points lead, but it's a place you want to be in. And especially at such a tough rally like Canberra, it's not traditionally my best rally. Let's say it's probably been my weakest rally out of the 6 rallies over the years. But we've persevered, we've kept at it, and to get to get the most points and be leading the championship after Rally Canberra is super motivating for Anthony and I.
And it's something that was introduced, I guess, because of the sheer talent there is at the top end of the ARC town now. The ballot system, which is something for the top 3 drivers on the road, for the people at home, because it's quite a new thing, is my understanding, to the championship. What is that?
Yeah, so there's a seeding list, which the Australian Rally Championship puts out after each event. And so it's basically like let's say a tennis ranking system, and it goes on stage time. So how fast you are on the stages, despite whether you finish the event or not, as long as you complete 6 stages in the event, then you'll be given a seeding. And if you win in all the stages, then you'll get the best seeding. So it basically works like that. That's a simple way of explaining it. And at Rally of Canberra, it was the first time we've ever done it, but the top 3 went into a ballot. So that was Harry, Hayden, and Scott Petter. So both days, Friday night and then Saturday night, they put their hand into a hat and picked out their road position for the next day, which is cool. It makes it exciting and it definitely spices it up a bit. Post Rally Canberra, they've released a new seeding, and it's actually Harry, Scott, and myself in the top 3, and Hayden's now 4th. So like I was in Canberra, I wasn't in the ballot. I was 4th on the road, and Hayden's going to be 4th on the road in Western Australia. And really, that's probably due to him not completing that many stages in Canberra. On the Saturday, he made the wrong tyre choice, and had his issues on the Saturday morning. So going over to Western Australia round 2, it's traditionally the spot where you don't want to be sweeping the road. It's a loose ball bearing surface, and for Hayden to have number 4 on the road, it's quite a big advantage. So he'll be fast over there. And despite out of Harry, Scott, or myself, who gets 1 or 2 on the road, we'll have to be driving at our best to try and keep in front of Hayden.
And I'm glad you mentioned about sweeping the road, because, I mean, most people who are motorsport fans, and some of our listeners who may not be big rally fans too, they go, well, first on the road, pole position, that's where you want to be. But it's not really the case in rallying, is it?
No, not in rallying. Normally, you want to be 3, 4 on the road. First on the road, especially if it's dry conditions, have to sweep a lot of loose gravel. You don't have as much grip. There's no line to follow. Definitely, it's an advantage further back on the road. The sweet spot, as I said, is probably 3, 4, 5, especially at certain rallies. So for sure, the top 3 going into a ballot mixes it up, puts extra pressure on competitors depending on who gets first on the road. And but it's something we're all reasonably experienced with now. Both Hayden, Harry, Scott, myself, we've all been 1 on the road a fair bit in our careers, and sometimes it's not a bad spot to be because there's no rocks pulled out, and you can sort of make your own line. You don't have to rely on following someone else's line. So it's not all bad, but if I had my preference, I'd be 3 or 4 on the road.
Did you enjoy, I guess, being away from the limelight a little bit in Canberra and being outside of that top 3 with the ballot and sort of being able to go about your own preparations in your own way?
Yeah, for sure. It made it easier in a way. We knew we were going to be 4 on the road, and that's just how it was. We weren't involved in the ballot, but at the end of the day, even if we were in the ballot, we had a job to do, and you got to drive as fast as you can wherever you're put on the road. So I'm not too concerned. It doesn't bother me too much. Definitely, if there's a rally where I wouldn't want to be first on the road, it's Perth, and I think every competitor would say the same thing. The rest of the rallies, I mean, there's not a huge advantage, but it's still it's still all to play for. It's a tough event. It's a slippery surface, but it's an event I enjoy. Anthony and I got our first ARC podium there back in 2019. So it's still a very cool event, and despite where I'm put, I'm happy, and we'll keep pushing on. We'll have to work harder than ever to keep that championship lead.
I kind of want to go back to Canberra before we do leave the Rally of Canberra and start moving on to other topics. It seemed like a massive event in terms of crowd. I know I read an article saying that they reckon it was one of the better crowds in the past couple of decades here in Canberra. And I know Peter Norton, the rally media manager from the Brindabella Motorsport Club, and also auto action photographer, mentioned that it exceeded expectations, and that was quoted in ABC Canberra as well. From the outside, what did it look like to you, and how important is it that the town seems to be embracing the rally again?
Yeah, it was really cool to see. It all started with a ceremonial start at Bundah Street on the Friday night. The crowd there was was an amazing turnout. And yeah, it's hard to get a gauge on that because a lot of people are leaving work and you're not sure if they're coming especially or they're just popping through on their way past. But despite that, the crowd on Friday night was absolutely incredible. And then the turnout on Saturday and Sunday was probably even better. It was definitely surprising in a way. Definitely there's been more hype around this rally the past few years and it's been growing, but I think it exceeded everyone's expectations. Peter did a great job as well as the BMSC, and then the Australian Rally Championship as well obviously did a great job promoting it. So I think collectively everyone involved did an amazing job, and everyone's hard work really paid off. So it was amazing to see, especially for Harry and I. There's some people, I think Peter Whitten from Rally Sport Mag was saying it's probably one of the biggest rally Canberras he's ever seen, which is pretty cool for Harry and I. We had an autograph session on the Sunday afternoon out at Cohen Rally Village, and there was a proper line for autographs and everything. So yeah, it's something that we haven't seen at our local round in probably 20 years, as you said, but it was really cool to see, and the vibe all weekend from start to finish was absolutely incredible.
Did I hear you run out of posters?
We did. So I think I got 200 printed. My wife printed them on the Friday Rally Canberra because it's something that I forgot to organise. So she went and got them printed, and she rang me and said how many while I was doing recce, and I said, just go with 200. That'll last us the weekend. I reckon we were out of the 200 by maybe 45 minutes into the ceremonial start or something. So then we had none for the rest of the weekend. They were going like hotcakes, which is pretty cool. It's not something I expected.
And that's incredible, really, isn't it? Because I guess you can gauge how popular an event is based on how many posters you sign, I guess.
Yeah.
But this is pretty cool for the ARC. Rally of Tasmania went off as well. It looked well attended from the photos I saw and from all accounts that I heard. It seems like the ARC is on the way up. What are rallies doing, I guess? Because, I wasn't in Tasmania, you're in Tassie, and you've been to other rallies as well. What are rallies doing to really, I guess, engage and, capture the imagination of those local communities?
Yeah, you're right. Tasmania, the final round of the 2024 Australian Championship was incredible once again. Quite similar to Canberra, the atmosphere was incredible start to finish, apart from the local boys, Eddie and Steve Maguire, were the highlight down there, not Harry and I. So we sort of weren't in the limelight, which was cool in a way. Everything Tasmania did, I think Canberra did even better, to be honest with you. The only thing probably Canberra missed was maybe having a super special on the Saturday or Friday night, because I think that would have been a real highlight. But who knows, maybe it's something they can look to for the future, maybe even next year. But I think, the Australian Rally Championship has a lot of momentum behind it at the moment. I think it helps with how hot the competition is. The cars are going faster than ever. Everyone's pushing harder than ever. And I think it makes it exciting. And genuinely, as a spectator, it's very exciting to watch. So I think if we can keep going in this direction, then it's going to be pretty special in years to come.
And I know Zach's got a couple of questions, but just one more thing. We talk about the glory days of the 90s and the noughties, I guess, when you think of names like Possum Bourne, Cody Crocker, Evans, even Neal Bates, and, of course, Coral Taylor and the like. Are we seeing that coming back? Because there's some big names in the ARC at the moment. Hayden Paddon coming to Australia to compete. Scott Petter being super quick as well. And obviously you and Harry too. And the Rulos as well, not too far behind as well. Alex Rulo, of course, younger Supercars race driver. Are we seeing that sort of coming back, back to the old?
Yeah, I think so. I think if you look at, Rally Canberra, Hayden Paddon came over, which is awesome for the championship. It's awesome for us competitors. That's what we want. He's arguably one of the best in the world. I think even at the moment, he'd be, one of the top 5 drivers in the world in a Rally 2 car. He's next level fast. And if you look at the Saturday at Rally Canberra, Scott, Harry and I were really able to take it to him. I think at midday service on Saturday, Hayden was leading the rally by 11 seconds over myself, and he hadn't won a stage yet. So he was super consistent, which is why he was in the rally lead. But Harry, Scott and I were all able to take stage times off him and stage wins off him, and Alex wasn't that far behind either. So if you look at our championship, it's in a really strong spot at the moment. I think we're driving just as fast, or if not faster than, the last 20 years. We're all going very hard, and that's what people want to see. It's exciting. We want to be versing the best because it pushes us all that little bit harder. So having Hayden come across and compete against us, obviously us Aussies are pretty keen to beat him, and it's definitely elevated us to another level. And I think
the feeling's mutual, I'm sure.
Yeah, exactly. Trust me, Hayden definitely wants to beat us. So it's genuinely exciting, and it's what people want to see.
And you've been on the world stage as well. You made your WRC debut in Portugal last year. In terms of a competition level from Australia to the world, it really is another massive step up, isn't it? But it's also proof of just how competitive you guys are against someone like Hayden Paddon, that Australia really does punch well above its weight in the rallying world. Yeah,
I think we do. Our national championship's always been strong. If you look back over 20 years ago, it was one of the strongest national championships. For sure, it took a bit of a dip over the years, but it's definitely started coming alive again in the last, 4 or 5 years. And I made my debut at Rally Portugal last year in the WRC2 section. It was the first time I've ever competed overseas. The competition was fast over there. Ideally, I wanted more. I didn't really have the performance or the debut that I wanted in the WRC, but circumstances were tough. Both Anthony and I were quite sick for the whole event, so we both fell ill a couple of days out from the event, and it was and a bit of an uphill battle from there. And I think to compete against those guys over there on roads they know so well, you need to be at your absolute best. And that aside, it was an amazing experience. As you said, if you look at Hayden, he's won the last 2 European Rally Championships, and he's one of the best in the Rally 2 cars and one of the best in the world. So for us to be able to compete against him, sure, it's going to be tough for the rest of the year, but that's something that us Australians are pretty proud of, and we might be biased, but I think we've got a very competitive national championship, and Taylor Gill's flying the flag very well for us overseas as well. So that's really cool to see. He's had a great start to his campaign, and I wish him the best for the rest of the season.
Obviously, Rally of Canberra win caps off a big 12 months for you. 2024 ARC probably wasn't the campaign you wanted. Of course, a lot of people would remember it for the big crash you had in Queensland halfway through the year, but you bounced back really strongly in the back end of the season. You won the Adelaide Hills Rally. You won the most stages of anyone at Tasmania to cap off the season. For you personally, how was that to bounce back from that Queensland accident and to finish the year strong and to start this season strong as well? It must be such a massive boost for your confidence.
Yeah, for sure it is. And 2024 wasn't really a great start to the season for me. We did National Capital Rally where we finished second behind my brother. We started the year in the old AP4 car, which stemmed from not winning the championship in 2023. It was basically whoever won the championship, which came down to the last stage, got the new Rally 2 car for the start of the 2024 season. And unfortunately for us, we just lost out on that, which meant we started the year in the old AP4 car. And we really just lacked a bit of pace. The first couple of rounds, we did Canberra Rally, where we finished second. Then went over to Portugal, had a tough run over there, then straight from Portugal to WA, and then had another tough run in WA. Things just seemed to not go our way at the start of the season, and then that led into Queensland, where it was the first rally in Australia in the new Rally 2 car, and we had that big accident. So, it wasn't a great start to 2024, to be honest with you, and it was tough for sure. But I'm proud of how we bounced back. Podium in Gippsland, 1-2 for the team, and then went on to win Adelaide Hills, and just fell short of the win in Tassie, but had the most stage wins and the power stage win, as you said. So definitely kept building on the momentum. It was tough mentally after such a big accident because it was a lot of work to get that car fixed, and it's not the type of accident that you want to have again. So I'm proud of our second half of the year, and really proud of how Anthony and I came back from that accident. The team really got behind us. Toyota really got behind us, and we managed to find our momentum again and carry that on to this year.
You mentioned mentally challenging, and that's something I kind of want to touch on, because obviously, elite athletes are built differently. Race car drivers built differently, and then on top of that again, rally car drivers built differently. Can you kind of walk us through or give us a little bit of an insight into mentally, what can you do to recover from something like that? Obviously, you had the fire in 2017 as well, car destroyed too, which they're hard things to come back from. And to go from sort of the lowest of lows in the sport, having those major accidents and incidents to coming back in and being super competitive and winning, as you mentioned, all the most stage wins in the final round of the year last year. For the people at home too, to kind of get an insight, what do you do in the background or in your own time? What's your brain gym essentially to get back on top?
Yeah, you're right. I think every athlete has to have a certain level of strong mental capacity. I think it's tough, especially in rallying. I'd say it's so many variables, so many things can go wrong. You really need to be strong mentally, otherwise, your performance isn't going to be where you want to be. But yeah, that big crash in Rally Queensland was tough for me. It was definitely by far the biggest crash of my career. It was not far off riding the car off completely. We were lucky to turn the car around in such a quick amount of time. And Gippsland for me was really having a clean event. We weren't focused on winning the event. We were focused on getting a podium. And we did that. Didn't put a foot wrong all weekend. Definitely didn't have the pace that I wanted on every stage. But we had a clean weekend. And as a driver, I definitely needed that. And that definitely brought the confidence back. And then going into Adelaide Hills Rally, it's an event that we'd won the past 2 years in a row. So I knew that we were quick there. It's one of our stronger events. It seems to really suit us. But on the flip side, it's a high-speed event and it's high risk and, things can go wrong pretty quickly. So as a driver, nearly riding the car off 2 events ago and then going to that event, it was tough, but you have to definitely back yourself. And any athlete around the world would say the same thing. You got to compartmentalise and put all the worries aside and just absolutely believe in your ability on the day. And that's probably the most important thing as an athlete. And for sure, you can carry that into everyday life as well. So it's something I've worked a lot on over the years. I've definitely had a lot of lows in rallying, but it's how you come back from them is what defines you. So for sure, I work hard on the mental side of things. I have a coach. I try and do all the right things. I'm doing saunas, ice baths, and working on my mental ability all the time. So I think by far, as well as physical fitness, by far that's one of the most important things in rallying.
And you got married recently. Does that play into it all?
Oh, for sure. I married my long-term partner in February this year, so that's exciting. Cassie and I have been together 11 years, so we finally got it done. That's exciting for sure. I must admit, it wasn't taking up heaps of my time planning it because Cassie did most of the planning. I helped where I could, but I felt like she was the perfect person for the job. I was probably getting in the way more than anything. But it was an amazing day and it was really exciting and the pressure's off now. Everyone can stop asking us and can focus on rallying this year.
And you mentioned 11 years. I'm sure all the ladies who are listening are like, about time, Lewis.
Yeah. I was starting to get sick of all the questions. When are you going to get married and everything? But no, we did it in our time and we're very happy.
Typical bloke, just want to get into rallying. All right, I'll get it done.
Yeah, exactly. That's right. Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And obviously, a lot of work going on here at the Neal Bates Motorsport Workshop as well. The Toyota Gazoo, the GR Cup, Toyota 86 program, that's on the go again in 2025. Got the season launch later on in the month at Sydney Motorsport Park and some new parts coming in for the series as well. So there's plenty of work outside of rally here at the Neal Bates Workshop, isn't there?
Yeah, for sure. One of the big parts of our business is the GR Cup 86 series. So, that's been going on for 10 years now. I think this is going into our 10th year, which is super exciting. And it's credit to Toyota Australia and everyone at Neal Bates Motorsport and Airtime as well, because it's quite an incredible series. It's definitely a grassroots series, and ideally, it's that next step for competitors to go out of go-karting and elevate their way up into the circuit racing world. And I think last year Toyota announcing their Supercars program with Walkinshaw and the Supra is also super exciting because there's now a direct pathway all the way from once you step out of go-karting into 86s. And then, you can step all the way up to supercars. So I think it's super exciting. It definitely keeps everyone at Neal Bates Motorsport busy, Harry and myself included. We're not full-time rally drivers. We're part-time rally drivers, and we work full-time in the family business. But it's good. We enjoy it that way, whether we're working on the rally program, the 86 program, or general everyday stuff. It keeps us busy and keeps us in check, and we really have to work hard on rally week because we're definitely not sitting here in between rallies preparing for the next event. It's definitely something we have to do, make time for in our own time, and we're very much focused on the Neal Bates Motorsport business in between rallies.
And a lot of people at home wouldn't know, you mentioned you're not just a rally driver here in the business, but you're not just up here in the office, you're on the spanners downstairs too, aren't you? How have you found the new generation to work on, and I guess in general, the new generation of the GR Cup?
Yeah, as you said, I am hands-on the tools. I started working in this business 9 years ago now, and I was on the tools straight away. I learnt my way as a mechanic. Probably the past 12 months, I haven't been on the tools much at all. I've been up in the office handling other sides of the business, but when we get busy, like at the moment, these past couple of weeks and the next few weeks, we're busy building new GR Cup cars. So I'm hands-on helping the guys build them just so we can get them out the door. I'm a bit up in the office, bit down on the tools, do a bit of whatever's required. But the GR Cup's working really well. I think it's a nice evolution to the series. We created a pathway called the Scholarship Series for the old 86 race cars, which is highly competitive, and I think at the last round a couple of weeks ago at SMSP, they had 41 entries there. So it's a highly competitive series, and then that's how you're able to qualify for the GR Cup, which is in a newer model car. But I think collectively everyone involved in the series has put on an incredible series for the past 10 years, and I think it's going to keep on continuing to grow. And if you want to get into supercars, it looks like that's the way to go. There's multiple different formats in circuit racing in Australia. But if you look at, let's say, I think one of the podiums at the Melbourne Grand Prix was Cameron Hill, Will Brown and Brock Feeney, and they've all come out of the 86 series. So it's pretty cool for Toyota, the 86 series, and everyone involved. It's quite an incredible series. And when we first started the series, 10, 11 years ago, I don't think anyone ever thought that it was going to evolve into what it is today.
100%. I guess the last single manufactured cup, I guess, was the Laser Series, is all I can think of off the top of my head. But you mentioned the Walkinshaw Toyota program. Does that mean you're going to get a cheeky test at all? Do you reckon you get asked to go jump in the Supra?
Who knows? Never say never. I'd love to if the opportunity came up. If Chaz gives me the keys to his Supra, then I'll give him the keys to my rally car. So never say never. Yeah, I think maybe at a test day. I don't think I'd give him the keys to my rally car for a full rally. But maybe at a test day we can do a promotional thing one day. Never say never.
Absolutely fantastic. And Toyota seems to just be, they sponsored the Rally of Canberra for the first time ever as well. Great support. The rally couldn't have been what it is, and we can see the Toyota colours in this beautiful trophy here in front of us too. They seem to be pumping a lot of money into Aussie motorsport at the moment. I know they're always a big supporter. How have you guys found that as a Toyota supported team? Do you see that as well?
Yeah, for sure. I think it was super exciting that Toyota Gazoo Racing Australia came on board for Rally Canberra, and it just goes to show, the effort they're putting into motorsport in Australia. And if you look at their, recent car lineups that they brought out over the past, 6-7 years, it's an exciting range. The GR cars are super exciting, and there's not many other manufacturers that are bringing out such exciting performance vehicles. So I think it's exciting, and the momentum's definitely building. I think there's more to come as well. I think, we're only just getting started. So I think it's an exciting future ahead, and definitely, we appreciate their support. I think sponsoring, being the naming right sponsor of Harry My Home Rally was fitting, and we really wanted to win that rally. So when Harry went out so early on the Saturday, then the responsibility was in my hands. So Anthony and I definitely wanted to win that rally, and Toyota wanted us to win that rally because we would have looked a bit silly if Hyundai won the Toyota Gazoo Racing Rally Canberra. But I'm glad we could deliver the result for them. And I think they were super happy with how the rally went.
For sure. All right, pie in the sky stuff. We're going to talk about, I guess, the ARC again. What rally do you think is missing from the calendar? Because there's a lot of cool little grassroots rallies kicking around, you know, around my hometown. I'm from Albury originally, like the Midamid Rally comes to mind. Obviously, the Bega Rally is a big one, Bateman's Bay, and even the dedicated tarmac stuff like Targa. What do you reckon's missing from the ARC in terms of the rounds?
To me, there's definitely a few ones that are missing. The first one that comes to mind is Coffs Harbour, because obviously the World Rally Championship was there for so many years, and it is a great event. The locals really got behind that one, and I think it's an amazing location for a championship. And as it stands, we don't actually have a round of the Australian Championship in New South Wales. So I think it would be amazing if we could go back to Coffs Harbour. But then some might say that we're missing a tarmac round. We're one of the only national championships around the world that doesn't have both gravel and an asphalt round. So potentially maybe a tarmac round in Adelaide, or as you said, Targa could be on the cards. But as you know, that would require the competitors to buy tarmac kits, which is a lot of money, and it's a big ask for competitors. So maybe in future years to come, if we can keep building the momentum, then maybe we can have a tarmac round. I think either Coffs Harbour or a tarmac round would be exciting. I think a lot of Australians still hold like Coffs Harbour as a special place to them, because that's where we had the World Rally Championship, and it really was a cool event and a good vibe. So who knows? Maybe I just miss having a round of the World Rally Championship here in Australia.
And so no, can't throw the cars around Thredbo or something in the snow?
I mean,
is that too left field to ask?
I think that'd have been a big ask. Yeah. I'm not sure if we're quite ready for a snow rally here in Australia, but who knows? Maybe Gippsland. It's quite high up, and we run there in August. It's not impossible that it could snow there. We've actually been quite lucky. We're there in the past couple of years. Ever since we started going there, the weather's been really nice. But I know in August, Gippsland, I think we're running some stages at 1,150 metres elevation, and they can get some pretty heavy snow there in August at that time of the year. So, who knows? It would be cool. I just don't know if we have quite the tyre to run around here in the snow. We don't have studs or anything, but it would make cool photos.
Continue on with this pie in the sky theme. Any driver in the world of rallying who you'd love to see come out, and perhaps in a wildcard Neal Bates Motorsport third entry, to take you on at any event, which driver would you like to see come down and give the Australian Championship a crack?
I'd like to see Kalle Rovanperä over here. He's one of my favourite drivers. He's cool as a cucumber, and no fuss. So I'd love to see him here. For sure, I'd love to compete against him. He's obviously a two-time world champion, and definitely one of the best in the world. So to have him come over and compete would be very cool. I just think maybe he'd want a little bit too much money to come over here and compete, but who knows, maybe one day.
I got a double header to kind of finish us off, I guess. We mentioned obviously the Portugal round. One, are you going back to the WRC at all? And I guess another dream pie in the sky question, what rally would you love to do out of all of them in the world?
The answer to going back to the WRC, no, not this year. There's definitely not anything on the cards. It's quite a big ask for an Australian to go over and do a round of the WRC too. The costs involved are huge, and it took up a lot of my time to get that over the line and get everything organised, especially competing in my own car and organising all the logistics. So it probably burnt me out a little bit at the start of last year, and I think my performances in Australia showed that. And I didn't really recuperate until the second half of the year. So I think a year focusing on Australian rallying is something that I need for this year. But still keen to go over and have another crack. I feel like we have unfinished business over there, and who knows, maybe next year we can get back over there. I'd love to do Rally Portugal again now that we've completed the whole event, and we know the roads. I think we could go over there and have a really big crack. But who knows, maybe 2026. And then in terms of your other question, which event do I want to go over and do? My bucket list event was Rally Portugal, and that's the one I was lucky enough to do. I basically had the choice on what event I wanted to do. Luke Kinnear was nice enough to offer his sponsorship from Safety Culture, and he basically said, you pick one event and we'll go and do it. So we picked Portugal. We went and did that one. He came over and supported me, which was really cool. The next event on my list that I really want to do is Rally Finland. I think it's almost the home of rally, and it looks like a huge event. I've gone over there and spectated once, and then I've been over since as well. So it's definitely an event on my bucket list. I don't think it's an easy event. I think it's quite a specific event, but I really like the fast roads, and they seem to suit my driving style.
And the air that they get over there. I've seen some massive jumps.
Yeah, it is a wild event. Going over and spectating at that rally is something else. I think anybody that can go over and do it should, because it's a pretty cool bucket list item.
You mentioned that you took your own car and the logistics over to Portugal. I didn't know you actually did that. I assumed you would have leased a car from like Toyota over in Europe or something. Why did you take your own gear over instead of a question out of left field?
Yeah. So basically it made sense because my Rally 2 car wasn't ready for the start of the Australian Rally Championship season. And it got finished, being built by TGR in Finland, Toyota Gazoo Racing in Finland, at the end of April. And
so I was already there.
It was already in Europe. I think, going off memory, I think Rally Portugal was around mid-May last year. So it was finished just in time. So it made sense. It was already there. And then I found a French team called E-Race that was able to run me in my own car. And then they went and picked my car up from Finland, drove back to France, and then prepared it for the rally, and then drove it over to Portugal for me. So, and then from Portugal, it went back to France and flew straight to Australia. So, that's how I made that work. It was definitely the far cheaper alternative rather than leasing a car in Europe. We probably saved ourselves about 60 or 70,000 Australian dollars by doing it that way. But obviously the logistics involved were massive, and it was quite a big ask from me to organise it all, and I probably underestimated how much work that was. But still glad we did it, and it was an amazing opportunity.
And for the remainder of 2025 for you, obviously 5 more rounds of the Australian Rally Championship for the season, but can we expect to see you perhaps in a guest appearance in the 86 series at some point this season?
Yeah, possibly. I think it could be on the cards for either Harry or myself in the last round this year, which I think is Sandown. I think we'll work out between us which one drives, but we always love driving in the 86 series. I think we have our work cut out. These kids are fast, and you feel like you do a decent lap in qualifying and you're getting beaten by 15, 16-year-old kids that have just come out of karting. So it's a highly competitive series, but I really enjoy it. It's totally different to rallying, and you almost need to reverse engineer everything you've learned in rallying, and try and implement circuit racing techniques. So it's good for you. Any seat time's good seat time, and I really enjoy the circuit racing.
And finally, out of all the GR cars, which one do you drive, mate?
I drive a GR Corolla.
Fair enough. Yeah. But what
I had a GR Yaris. I sold it, and now I've got a GR Corolla.
Why the Corolla over the Yaris?
I'm not sure. It was new at the time, so I thought, why not? But also, it's got more room. So the Yaris, the GR Yaris is a 2-door, which doesn't really matter for me because I don't have kids or anything. But I thought, the Corolla became available. It has more room. I may as well give it a go. But they're both awesome cars. I'd recommend either.
What a great place to end on. Lewis, thank you so much for joining us on the Pitlane Punters. I know you mentioned you're super busy, so I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to have a chat to us.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
You've been listening to the Pitlane Punters podcast. Make sure you like, subscribe, follow, and ring the notification bell wherever you get your podcasts. And if you get a spare chance, leave us a 5-star review. It really helps us in the algorithm. And now, exclusive to Spotify listeners, we've unlocked the Q&A function. So if you have a question about the podcast, how we make it, or just have any motorsport questions in general, we'd love to hear from you, we'd love to answer them, and we'd love to engage with you. That's it from us. See you next time on the Pitlane Punters podcast.